Hello, welcome back to making the satchel bag together. Um, I thought we do one catch up so you have cut out all the pieces, and I just wanted to quickly show you which pattern piece belongs to which piece, just that you can double check if you got it all right. Let's start with the front. That is your front closing flap. That's why it has got the round edges. You were meant to cut one in the denim, one in the lining, one in the interfacing for the denim, and one in the interfacing for the lining. So I have done that, and see how flat it is. So remember, when we are fusing anything, when we're using the iron for sewing, we are not kind of ironing, we are pressing. That means that's why I have this mat here. I love using the ironing mats because you get it flatter than you would get the small iron boards. So you really press down with all your might to get it really flat. And especially with a fusible fleece, you need to have patience to get it on. If that doesn't adhere right, first it will bubble off afterwards, and second, it will never look as flat as that. And you can have the steam on as well. The fusible fleece needs a bit of steam when you iron it on. So I've prepared the front flap of the satchel, and then I took the leathery label off and I have put it here. So that's ready. Then we will have the lining piece. So that is the inside of the flap. That's what they call the lining piece. That's the inside of the flap. And then afterwards you put bias binding all around it, so you're leaving the edges raw. Here I was just running out of fabric because I had a lovely blouse which wasn't as big as a men's shirt would have been, so I was running out, so I had to stick a little bit extra, so don't mind that. So that's your front flap. That's the 4 pieces of lining, interfacings and fabric for that. Then we will have the actual carcass of the bag. That is this one here. So that's the piece that you have cut out most often. You have 2 in the denim, so that's your front and your back of the carcass of the bag. You have 2 of the lining, that's your shirt or whatever you have cut up. Then 2 interfacing for the lining, and 2 fusible fleece again for the denim. Now watch, remember last time in the last video I showed you that the back of the satchel, the piece that is to your body, has got the back pocket on it. Remember I said you need to be really careful how you place the jeans, and I say it again, you have to stay away from these strengthening seams, because when you're sewing the satchel together later on, you need to allow for seam allowance, and this seam allowance needs to be away from here because your needle won't like it to go through all these layers of denim. I found another label in that jeans and I planked it there. I thought that looked quite good. And then we have got the that's the front of the carcass. That's the front of the carcass there. And the front pocket, so that was number 1 and 2, what I'm showing you all here. And that is your 2 lining pieces. Again, my blouse had some decorations which I just used as they were, the fusible fleece on this and the normal interfacing on that. So then this piece has then the height to go with it. That's these people, and here off you need to cut out 3 in the lining and 3 in the jeans, and again you are interfacing it. So these are my 3 with the jeans. I have already sewn them together and I will show you in a minute why I've done that. And I have gone a bit posh and have used the side pocket as the side height, so you can put a pen or something in here. I thought that looked maybe quite interesting. And then you can already see preparation for sewing. If you sew that together, the bottom and the 2 sides, then you can already check if the seams are nicely on the jeans, so you will be fine going around the curves. This is not too long or something, you know, that can easily happen, but no, they're both 1 centimeter onto the jeans, so we are good to go for the next video when I show you how to sew that up. The lining has got the height as well. However, I kind of really didn't have enough fabric, so I just used jeans here for the sides of the inner lining, but because the jeans is so much thicker, I decided then not to interface it. But obviously if you have the fine fabric from the lining, of course you interface it with the normal medium fusible. So that's these pieces here. Then after that, let me go back to the front piece of the carcass, which is this one here. This front piece is getting a denim bag front zip pocket, meaning this thing here, this piece which you have cut out as an end of a leg, that's why it has the already finished upper edge. This gets put on to this, and in one of the next videos you will see there is a zip here in between, which is really confusing because there is a lining. So the lining for this is here. No, this. Yeah. This is the front back pocket number 9 and number 1 together on the pattern. Cut 1 lining, that's this one here. So this one will sit behind here like so. I was really running out of fabric, not that I said that before, so I had to make new fabric, and it says cut out 1 lining, but because my fabric is so fine, I interfaced it. So this is not something that's in the instructions. It's just to encourage you, if you have to make more fabric and it's all a bit floppy, or if you have chosen like me a polyester lining because I like the pattern but it's not very practical for sewing, then interfacing can really sometimes help you. So that piece goes here behind, but this is not what you fold up as a pocket. You sew it against here. You will see that again in the next video, and there's the zip here in between, and then it goes down, and the whole thing then goes against the front piece of the back. That really confused me at the beginning because this is not a usual lining for a pocket. The back lining for the pocket is the actual front part of the satchel bag, and the lining piece is only one side of the inner of that pocket. So the other side of the zip here will just be top stitched onto here. So I'm just making that so clear because I found it really confusing, and the chances are that you find it confusing too. So this pocket here I have planked on in my own decision. That's not in any instructions because I wanted to show you something. So the one back pocket went onto the back of the satchel on that piece, but the other pocket I wanted to top stitch just to add some interest here. What have I done? I have cut it out with quite some jeans extra all around, some denim fabric extra, and then I folded that under and I top stitched all around the pocket, including up here, and that way you do not need to argue with the top stitching. So don't think that you have to cut it really near and then argue with that top stitching here. Do just the contrary. Cut it away the raw piece, fold it under, leave yourself a good run that with the jeans and with the zipper foot you can get near enough and top stitch it, and you top stitch it all around here so that you have easily access then to the pocket. And there's just a bit of schnick-schnack. I always liked that motif and I never had a purpose for it, so I thought, here we go, this will go here just for fun, just to encourage you that you can embellish all that. And obviously if I iron it on now, then I don't have to argue with it later when the bag is finished. So that's these pieces here, that's that. Then the lining, one side of the lining, what you look inside the bag then, also has got a pocket, and this is called lining fabric for inner pocket, cut 1 lining. And again I have done that, but again I have interfaced it because it's just so flimsy and I really wasn't up for a big argument with that flimsy fabric. So I have interfaced it just to make it a bit sturdier. And what you need to do with this pocket then is you need to sew it up. You put right sides facing, you sew it up, down, over, and then a bit up from here and a bit down from there, and then you turn it inside out, push your corners out, And once it's then obviously back on the good side, you have obviously these seams not visible anymore, and the turning hole, you would iron that inwards to make it the same straight line, and then you sew once across to stabilize the upper edge, and then you top stitch the rest. So this makes a patch pocket on top of the one of the sides of the inner lining. I will show you that later how I do that, but just a bit as a heads up. So that's that piece. And then yes, that's all our pieces. We are good to go. So what would be the next step then as well is we have to prepare this zip that's sitting, I show you that this way around, that's sitting on the diagonal here. And for that, because we thought a metal zip would look nice for here, we need to put zipper tabs because we don't want to have the holes visible. And I just wanted to show you how to make these zipper tabs. Again, I've interfaced my little remnant piece, just that I don't have to fight with its floppiness. I cut two pieces, and what we want is that these zipper tabs are the same width as the zip, that it just goes in a continuing line. And for that, you fold it, like you obviously want to stitch just beyond the metal because the needle won't go through that. You stitch like this, you lay it like this, you fold it over to the back, and you stitch across just below the metal, and then we pull it over, and then it encloses it all to extend the zip. So I will show you that in a minute on the sewing machine. I meet you right there. Right, so see, as I said earlier on, we wrap the two pieces around. So the funny thing here is you need to have the big part on the left and the short part on the right. That can be a bit confusing. I show you what you're doing and then you will understand it. You now sew across. This is a metal zip, so you are not sewing over the teeth. You're sewing just outside either side of the teeth. There you are. And then you lock the stitch that it doesn't unravel on you. Take it out. Don't even need to cut it. It's better if it stays stable and doesn't fray. See? So you're just below, beyond the metal, and you have done it in a way that you are in a direct continuation of the zip. And we do the same on the other side. That's why you need the bigger part here and the smaller part there, so that the bigger part then can overlap the smaller part, see, and gives you then the distance you need. Otherwise you would only get a tiny bit extension that won't be long enough for you. So let's do this side then. Again, make sure you lock your stitch. Cut all these threads, and then we pull it over, and in a minute we will press it down flat. So this is the zip that goes inside that front pocket that had the motif on it. That needs little tabs as well. So you do